What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is Eric, and we got some breaking news. Broke yesterday. This is a story that's been thrown out there many times by clickbait videos on YouTube, and I've never believed it. And that is Kathleen Kennedy stepping down from Lucasfilm. This time it does seem legit, although she is not just stepping down right away. This is not effective immediately. It's like at some point before the end of this year, she will be stepping down. Now, she is 72 years old. It was going to happen sooner or later. But the fact of the matter is she should have been gone a long time ago. But there was no way Disney was going to fire their big lead woman executive who took over Star Wars from George Lucas, and it was such a big deal in 2016, 2015, before The Force Awakens, and she absolutely destroyed this franchise. And I think there's very few people who would argue that. Even people who like some of these movies and some of these shows would agree she has done an awful job with the Star Wars franchise. We are at the point where movies don't even come out. It's not a movie franchise. It's literally not a movie franchise anymore. A Star Wars movie literally lost money with Solo. It lost money, and that was in the early stages. They hadn't even finished the trilogy. They haven't even finished the sequel trilogy. It was only, the second Star Wars story, right? The anthology movies. They put out Rogue One, which, okay, I like Rogue One. I have some problems with it, but it's definitely the best Disney product so far, in my opinion. It was pretty good, but even that was an absolute disaster behind the scenes with reshoots and everything. It was just an absolute shit show. They'd lost a ton of money just trying to get that thing produced. And then the next one was Solo, a movie that really nobody was asking for. Nobody wanted to see someone who wasn't Harrison Ford as Solo. We weren't ready for that, but they threw it out there anyway, lost money. It was not that great. Then they turned their attention to Disney Plus, and they're just cranking out TV shows. The Mandalorian seemed to get pretty good reviews. I didn't really watch much of it. I mean, I tried, and it was just all garbage. The only show that I finished, because it wasn't so long, was the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and I had looked forward to that. So for so long, I wanted to see a movie. It turned out to be a TV show, which wasn't that great. I mean, I reviewed the whole thing. I believe the reviews are right here on this channel. Big thumbs down for that show, in my opinion. And look, man, we know what went wrong with this franchise, and that Kathleen Kennedy is not a fan of Star Wars. She did not have the best interests in mind with this franchise whatsoever. She did not care about the fans at all. In fact, they insult the fans from the beginning, and they've learned nothing over the years. Even hiring an activist, supposedly, who's going to direct the next Rey movie. And it's like, what are they doing? They hired an activist who's outspoken against men.
Absolutely. I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable.
After she had already destroyed the franchise, and Disney just let her keep going. Now, I don't want to go on a huge rant. I just want to make it clear that I'm not a fan of Kathleen Kennedy. And I used to be a huge Star Wars fan, loved the original trilogy. I was not a huge fan of the prequels, but compared to the new stuff, the prequels are absolutely brilliant. And I think if they had replaced her right after Solo, like a movie lost money, okay, we're going to go in a different direction. Maybe the franchise could have been salvaged. Now, the original trilogy, what a train wreck that was. They had a chance after that first movie. Then they bring in Rian Johnson, and they releases the absolute atrocity that was The Last Jedi. That's really what destroyed it. And then instead of trying to get back on track, we get one of the dumbest, most nonsensical atrocities ever released in The Rise of Skywalker. And a trilogy that is so disjointed, I can't even explain it, but the trilogy, there was not anyone who says, oh, well, they plan to stop making movies. Bullshit. Bullshit. They stopped making movies because they realized they couldn't make money on a Star Wars movie. It got that bad. And it all goes back to Kathleen Kennedy and the fact that she is an activist first. She's a social justice fighter first, social justice warrior, whatever you want to call it. And I don't want to go on and on about woke this, woke that. It's not really my style of the channel, but certainly in certain aspects, you know, a lot of movies people call woke. I'm like, yeah, there's a line here or a line there that was kind of annoying. But as far as Star Wars goes, the creators behind it did not have its best interest in mind. And that's really what it boils down to. They were all about pushing a narrative, pushing an agenda. That came first and foremost. making an awesome Star Wars movie and telling a great story was very, very low on the list as far as priorities go. And that's what really happened, in my opinion, with Star Wars. And the question is, can it be salvaged at this point? Reports are that Dave Filoni is going to take over. I mean, I'm not even the hugest Dave Filoni fan. Obviously, it's an improvement. Anything would be an improvement. My next door neighbor, who I don't even know, would be an improvement over Kathleen Kennedy. But I don't think it can be salvaged, at least not the main saga. The main saga is over. The characters we know and love, it's over. They've been destroyed, unless you're going to wipe it all out, which they're not going to do. Maybe if they want to tell a fresh story like Old Republic or something, or, get some of the old books, the books that were actually good, what they call it, legends now. There's some great stories there. I mean, you can try to salvage it, and if you can do something with it, maybe, but you still, is all this crap canon over the last 10 years? If so, we got a problem. And remember, they're still under the umbrella of Disney. So I'm not really super excited. I put on the t-shirt for the video. As far as I'm concerned, this franchise is dead. It's been dead. I mean, the old movies are not dead. We can still watch them. And obviously I do. I watch the original trilogy. I watch the prequels. And that's pretty much it. I might throw on Rogue One. I might. Because I do like that movie. And hey, I'll give respect to a movie if I like it. It's just been a rough ride for this franchise ever since the original trilogy. Such a great trilogy. Amazing characters, lightning in a bottle. And even George Lucas couldn't really replicate that with the prequels, although there is some greatness there. But the prequels have huge problems. And to think you're going to get rid of George Lucas, bring in an activist, and you're going to get greatness just because you have the IP. You have to have the right minds, creative minds. You have to have good directors. You have to have some people who have a good vision and also who love these stories. Or if they don't have a passion for it, at least they do their research and try to give the fans something great and try to relate to the fans. We got none of that, and I don't think we're going to get none of that anytime soon. So I'm not excited about this. I would have been 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago. If Solo bombed and then they got rid of her, I'd have been like, hell yes, let's get this train back on track. At this point, I've left it in the past. My first YouTube channel was about Star Wars. I used to make Star Wars videos. I was like, what am I doing? I had to stop. I don't even like this franchise. So yeah, good news that Kathleen Kennedy is going to be stepping down. But unless I see, if they come out with a new Star Wars movie in theaters, nothing to do with Kathleen Kennedy, no huge red flags, no activist directing it, assuming Kathleen Kennedy has nothing to do with it, I would be happy to check it out, and then I would give my honest assessment. But I haven't been watching any of the shows or any of the other properties, any of the other whatever that comes out that has to do with Star Wars. It's just been crap. It's absolute crap. And if I don't like it, what's there to say? And I haven't been talking about it. I don't talk about it anymore because it's crap. I'm only talking about it now because of the news. Kathleen Kennedy supposedly stepping down. And this time I believe it's true, not just stupid clickbait, because we're getting a lot of articles from pretty reliable sources. Although, mainstream media, how reliable are they? Let me know you guys' thoughts down below. Am I excited about it? No. Do I have a little glimmer of hope that maybe someday they get this thing back on track, that we actually get an awesome Star Wars movie again? A little bit, but at the same time, there's other IPs now. Dune is pretty much replaced Star Wars as far as my excitement goes for future science fiction movies. It's been amazing, the first two, and I'm hoping they come out with the third one. So there's other amazing science fiction franchises that are doing a lot better, and that I'm excited about, and I'm fine leaving Star Wars in the past and enjoying what we've already had that we know is great, instead of trying to look forward to something that's probably not going to be great, made by activists.